467 sicarios got taken out in the biggest op ever against narco in Mexico. It was a battle that flipped the whole organized crime scene in the country for good. Not some routine clash with a cartel cell out in the sticks. Not a raid on a regional boss and his guards. Not a fight against a narco base up in far-off mountains. It was the heaviest military operation ever launched against the top target of Mexican organized crime, when special forces from the army, backed by National Guard, tracked down and hit the spot where a leader who'd dodged capture for decades was holed up. And the outcome left numbers that'll go down in history books, proving it was the deadliest clash ever recorded in the drug war. Up to today, Sunday, February 22, 2026, when federal forces ran an op in Tapalpa, Jalisco, when they faced resistance on a scale never seen, and the final results gonna shake not just the crime world but the whole country for months or years. And what I'm gonna drop in this video about exactly who was the target of this massive raid and why it called for troop deployment. On this historic level, about how the wildest battle against Mexican narco played out, and about the immediate fallout already kicking off right now in multiple states across the country is gonna leave you totally speechless. Stick around to the end because I've got info on the cartel's reaction sparking chaos in 7 states at once about what taking out this target means for the future of organized crime in Mexico. And because this Sunday, February 22, 2026 is gonna be remembered as the day that changed the narco war forever. The op got planned over months with top-level secrecy, the tightest ever for a military move in Mexico. The folks who knew full details you could count on one hand. Even lots of the troops involved didn't know who the target was until right before the assault. The spot was Tapalpa, a town in Jalisco State. Rough mountain area, hard to reach with small, scattered settlements, always seen as a safe haven for certain crime operators thanks to tough terrain and local loyalty. The intel behind this op came from years of grind. Round-the-clock surveillance, wiretaps, infiltration into structures, pattern analysis. Years of data from multiple agencies that finally clicked into solid certainty. The target was in Tapalpa. The troop rollout was huge and unmatched. Mexican Army Special Forces in numbers you don't even see for wiping out full fortified bases. National Guard support locking down outer perimeter and escape routes. Armed helicopters enough for non-stop air cover. Cutting-edge gear, ammo for a drawn-out fight. Deployment screaming the target's absolute weight without naming him yet. Authorities hadn't confirmed publicly who it was, but the scale of the op made clear it was someone historic. The approach kicked off Saturday night. Troops moved into positions around Tapalpa, using multiple routes to stay quiet. By 5 a.m. Sunday, they were locked in surrounding a specific ranch on the town's outskirts. From high vantage points with night vision gear, they could see the target ranch. Big property, fortified, luxury vehicles. In view, armed guys patrolling. Clearly a high-security setup, but from outside they couldn't fully gauge the raw power guarding that ranch. They had no clue they were about to face the biggest defense Mexican narco ever threw up to protect just one guy. At 6 a.m. Sunday, February 22, 2026, the assault launched, and that's when the bloodiest, most pivotal chapter of Mexico's narco war started getting written. First minutes showed right away. This wasn't any normal op. The fire federal forces ate was insane, massive. Not 50 sicarios holding ground, not 100. Force size you only see in wars between countries. Fortified spots everywhere. Sicarios packing war-grade weapons. Heavy machine guns, RPGs. Sniper rifles. Geared not just to defend but to rack up huge casualties. In the first 30 minutes of fighting, Federals took their first losses. Guys who went down doing their duty. Others wounded but didn't pull back. Couldn't target was worth it all. Battle ramped up hour by hours. Noise carrying kilometers away. Tapalpa locals barricaded in homes. Scared stiff. Sky thick with explosion smoke. Full-on war zones. And all that time while the fight raged. With unmatched fury, the country still had no clue. Who was in that ranch to justify such a massive play? And if this has you on edge total about who the target was and how the heaviest battle in history went down, if you wanna know what happened in those hours of gunfire and what came out the end, hit likes now and subscribe, because what's next is the biggest reveal on Mexican organized crime in decades. Hit the bell and here's the scoop on who the target was and how the battle went. That's gonna rewrite organized crime history. In Mexico, op target was Nemesio Oscura Cervantes alias El Mencho, founder and top boss of Jalisco New Generation Cartel, Mexico's most powerful and violent outfit. Not some plaza chief, not a high-level operator. He was the supreme leader of the cartel that in 10 years turned into the hemisphere's top criminal org. Guy with the fattest bounties on his head. $10 million from US government. Tens of millions more from Mexico. Mencho dodged capture for years with extreme caution. Constant location switches, sharp intel on federal moves, and massive security net. Rarely stayed put more than days. Used doubles, no traceable comms. Toughest target to pin down in all Mexico, but intel finally nailed him at that Tapalpa ranch. And confirmation was rock solid. Multiple independent sources, top tech surveillance. Intercepts leaving no doubt. Mencho was there. And let me ask you something key. Drop in comments what country you're tuning in from right now. Mexico, United States, Central America, South America, Europe. Historic moment, and I wanna see how it hits worldwide. Put it below. Ranch defense was exactly what you'd expect. To guard the boss of Mexico's meanest cartel. Not 100 sicarios, over 500 elite. CJNG's best, ready to die for their leaders. Set up in multiple defense rings. Outer perimeter heavy machine guns. Second ring RPGs and sniper rifles. Third ring around main building wares. Mencho was with his closest guard. Fight was pure brutal. From jump, Federals hit with superior tactics. Sicarios held with fanatic grit. Clash intensity Mexico never saw. First 2 hours, Federals breached outer rings, but it cost heavy. Several down, dozens wounded. But pressed on cause target worth any price. Armed helos laid constant fire support from air, but careful cause Mencho needed capture or kill. With full confirmation. Not blasted from sky where body. ID gets tricky. At 9 am, 3 hours in. Federals cracked second ring. Closing on main buildings. Sicarios amped resistance, knowing they were losing ground. Sicario body count massive, 150. Then 200, then 250. But survivors kept same fury. No surrenders, fight to death guarding Mencho. At 11 am, 5 straight hours of battle. Federals hit main building. Last 150 sicarios or so. Clustered total around it. Final stand. Mencho inside with personal escort. Knew he was boxed. Knew no way out but no surrenders. Clear order to his gunmen. Fight to the last man. Main building assault kicked at 11:30 am. Intensest combat of the whole op. Every room a fortress. Every hallway kill zones. Sicarios held every inch with everything. For 2 more hours, fight dragged inside. Room by room, floor by floor. Federals pushed relentless, but the toll in lives and wounded kept climbing. At 1:30 p.m. Sunday, over 7 hours from op launch, Federals reached top floor. Mencho was there with last sicarios of his inner guard. And now I'll tell you how those final minutes wrapped. What happened to Mencho and what's blowing up now. In multiple states from CJNG reaction. At 1:45 p.m. Sunday, February 22, 2026, federals stormed final room, where Nemesio Oscar Cervantes L. Mencho was with his last 12 sicarios from closest personal escort. Resistance was pure savage. The 12 knew it was end. Fought all out but overwhelmed by numbers and federal training. In about 3-minute shootouts, 12 escort sicarios dropped dead, and Mencho took multiple bullets. Went down dead in the room where he tried, holding out to the end. At 2 p.m., 8 hours from start, battle officially wrapped. Nemesio Cervantes El Mencho, CJNG founder, was dead. Final tally crushing and record-breaking. 467 CJNG sicarios dead protecting their boss. 38 captured wounded on federal side. 23 army elements down heroic, 67 injured. Various severity, several critical. Deadliest clash ever against narco in Mexico history. Blasted past any prior battle. Numbers screaming the target's historic weight. Mencho's body ID'd instant via fingerprints. And photos. No doubt it was him, Mexico's most wanted. Dead after years on the runs. Official confirmation hit at 3 p.m. Via federal statement. Federal forces confirm death of Nemesio Oscar Cervantes El Mencho in Tapalpa, Jalisco op. And that's when CJNG reaction started rolling, that's still hitting now in Jalisco, Michoacan, Colima, Nayarit, Aguascalientes, Tamaulipas, and Guanajuato. Highway blocks popped. Vehicles torched, hits on businesses. Cartel's raw response to founder boss falling. In Guadalajara, Jalisco's big city, CJNG cells jammed main avenues with burning vehicles, lit up public buses, hit convenience stores. Chaos for hours. In Michoacan, where CJNG has heavy footprint, violence even wilder. Blocks across multiple towns. Sicario versus state police clashes. Business torches in Kai cities. Other 5 states, same deal. Planned violence to show CJNG still kicking despite boss death. To spark chaos, messing government celebration. Message organization won't fold. But truth is Mencho's death is total gut punch for CJNG. Not just lost founder. Lost 467 elite sicarios in defense. Lost symbol holding org together. Question now, what's next for CJNG? Mencho left no clear public successor. His son Menchito locked up. Other leaders will scrap for control. Could spark bloody internal war over takeover. Or cartel fractures into smaller groups, fighting over turf or tries holding together under group leaderships. Coming days and weeks will shape Mexico's most powerful criminal outfit's future. For government, its historic win. Pulled off impossible. Tracking and dropping Mencho is feat that'll echo decades but came costly. 23 down, dozens hurt, and violence erupting now in 7 states. For Mexico, this Sunday, February 22, 2026 is Landmark Day. Boss of mightiest cartel dead. But outfit he built lives with thousands sicarios. Ops across dozen states. Global reach. War didn't end, just shifted. So I ask you, think Mencho's death gonna cripple CJNG hard? Figure internal war over succession. Mind-blown 467 sicarios died for him. What's next for Mexico's meanest cartel? Drop in comments if you think this historic moment needs logging. Share it. Hit like if you dig breakdowns of history-shifting events. Subscribe cause I'll keep tracking fallout.